junction wire glowing bright inside the protective glass bulb of the active vacuum tube. A faint layer of static charges accumulates along the dry ceramic mounting grid support. You monitor the steady voltage deflection on the analog blown plate. Current left number to dial. My knuckles rest against the cold steel shielding plate of the primary transmitter stage. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning sky. Thermodynamics balance the electric friction of our private sector tonight. Every complex charge distribution correct within this glass vacuum chamber. Now the slow contraction of the heated element governs our physical position in space. A perfect boundary where the thick steel housing shields our fragile frames. Sharp odor of heated glass and electrical insulation lacquer drips from the chassis vent. The internal magnetic windings of the choke coil retain the day's heavy thermal load. Your fingers remain absolutely precise as you secure the secondary fill and supply connection. We find a rare mechanical stability deep inside the central block infrastructure road. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning sky. Thermodynamics balance the electric friction of our private sector tonight. Every complex charge this distribution corrects within this glass vacuum chamber. Now the slow contraction of the heating element governs our physical position in space. Perfect boundary where the thick steel housing shields our fragile frames. The dual voltage indicators on the grid power supply drop to the baseline mark. I sing directly into the wide negative space between the stereo separation nodes. There is no poetic closure waiting for us inside these solid structural walls. Only the continuous physical movement of the electrons cooling in the metal core. Yeah. thick layer of damp clay and aggregate settles directly into the roadside drainage ditch. You monitor the gradual soil density deflection on the geotechnical measurement system. My knuckles rest against the coals encasing of the primary runoff collector gate.
The current shifts within the copper core, and idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning sky.
Vessels standing, balance the heavy friction of our private sector tonight.
Every complex pressure differential corrects within this raw
Roadside infrastructure now.
The slow compression of the unpaved surface
Governs our physical position in space.
a perfect boundary where the thick stone drainage
Channel protects our fragile frame. A faint scent of wet earth and petroleum residue drips from the unpaved gravel bed. The internal winding coils of the automatic highway barrier sensor retain the day's load. Your fingers remain absolutely precise as you secure the heavy grounding rod terminal clamp. We find a rare mechanical stability deep inside the central block infrastructure road.
The current shifts within the copper core, and idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning sky. Viscous dynamic balance
The heavy friction of our private sector tonight.
every complex pressure differential corrects within this raw
Roadside infrastructure now.
slow compression of the unpaved surface.
Governs our physical position in space. A
Perfect boundary where the thick stone drainage
channel protects our fragile frame. Voltage indicators on the auxiliary safety beacon display a sudden drop in the grid. I sink directly into the wide negative space between the stereo separation nodes. There is no poetic closure waiting for us inside these dark retaining walls. Only the continuous physical movement of sediment settling on the concrete bed. core concentrates the high-frequency electromagnetic wave propagation. A steady dielectric loss generates a constant micro-vibration along the hollow copper tube. You monitor the phase displacement margin on the digital network, analyze the screen interface. My knuckles rest against the cold brass coupling flange of the primary feed line assembly. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning skies. Electromagnetic boundary balance the heavy tension of our private sector tonight. Every complex impedance mismatch corrects within this hollow copper waveguide now. The slow contraction of the metal channel governs our physical position in space. A perfect boundary where the thick steel enclosure shields our fragile frames. A faint scent of heated composite materia and dry nitrogen gas drips from the feed horn. The internal copper coils of the signal attenuation block retain the day's thermal low. Your fingers remain absolutely precise. Use to secure the secondary coaxial cable clamp. We find a rare mechanical stability deep inside the central block infrastructure. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning skies. Electromagnetic boundary balance the heavy tension of our private sector tonight. Every complex impedance mismatch corrects within this hollow copper waveguide now. The slow contraction of the metal channel governs our physical position in space. A perfect boundary where the thick steel enclosure shields our fragile frames. The dual voltage indicators on the input stage display a sudden drop to the baseline mark. I sink directly into the wide negative space between the stereo balance nodes. There is no poetic closure waiting for us inside these solid structural walls. Only the continuous physical movement of the electrons cooling in the waveguide core. receiver enclosure remains locked against a certain temperature drop outside. A thin layer of condensation begins to form on the exposed steel structural bolts. Our silent transmission continues as the local electrical grid maintains its low load. We embrace the thick absolute silence of the empty landscape before the day begins to wake. Accumulates a fine layer of liquid moisture in the dark. A constant microscopic droplet slides slowly down the dry galvanized metal housing seam. You monitor the steady humidity deflection on the digital hygrometer sensor display. My knuckles rest against the cold steel protective plate of the primary cooling unit. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning sky. Thermal transits imbalance the wet mechanical friction of our private sector tonight. Every complex pressure differential corrects within this raw concrete condenser chamber. Now, the slow accumulation of the surface dew governs our physical position in space. A perfect boundary where the thick stone conduit shelters our fragile frames. A sharp odor of cold metallic scale and wet condensation drifts from the air intake port. The internal copper cores of the auxiliary ventilation motor retain the day's heavy load. Your fingers remain absolutely precise as you secure the secondary safety wiring clamp. We find a rare mechanical stability deep inside the central block infrastructure road. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning sky. Thermal transition balance the wet mechanical friction of our private sector chambers. Now, the slow accumulation of the surface dew governs our physical position in space. A perfect boundary where the thick stone conduit shelters our fragile frame. Every friction plate wears down slowly under the static clamping load of the housing clutch. A fine layer of dark carbon dust settles directly inside the mechanical clutch cover assembly. You monitor the steady slip coefficient variance on the digital torque transmission interface. My knuckles rest against the cold steel casting of the main rotational drive coupling unit. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning skies. Corrosive wear balances the heavy torque of our private sector tonight. Every complex step differential corrects within this unrefined machinery housing. Now, the slow decay of the internal clutch plate governs our physical position in space. A perfect boundary where the thick steel casting shields our fragile frame. Sharp odor of scorched composite material and hot synthetic oil drips from a clutch vent. The internal copper cores of the auxiliary hydraulic actuator retain the day's heavy thermal load. Your fingers remain absolutely precise as you calibrate the secondary pressure relief bypass valve. Find a rare mechanical stability deep inside the central block infrastructure road. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning sky. Corrosive wear balances the heavy torque of our private sector tonight. Every complex step differential corrects within this unrefined machinery housing. Now, the slow decay of the internal clutch plate governs our physical position in space. A perfect boundary where the thick steel casting shields our fragile frame. heavy galvanized wire fence vibrates slowly against a cold nocturnal wind draft. A constant electric hum flows through the steel tension bar and the concrete ground base. You measure the gradual structural displacement on the mechanical strain censored out. My knuckles rest against the cold protective zinc coating of the main boundary post.
The current shifts within the copper core, and idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise.
Beneath the gray expanse of morning sky, the corrosive elements balance the heavy tension of our private sector tonight. Every complex charge distribution corrects within this unrefined industrial frame now. The slow deflection of the metal lattice governs our physical prison in space. A perfect boundary where the thick iron structures shelter our fragile frame. Faint scent of cold oxide and wet clay drifts from the lower perimeter trenches. The internal magnetic windings of the security beacon receiver retain the day's heavy load. Your fingers remain absolutely precise as you fasten the copper grounding strap clamp. We find a rare mechanical stability deep inside the central block infrastructure.
The current shifts within the copper core, and idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise.
Beneath the gray expanse of morning sky, corrosive elements balance the heavy tension of a private sector tonight. Every complex charge distribution corrects within this unrefined industrial frame now. The slow deflection of the metal lattice governs our physical prison in space. A perfect boundary where the thick iron structures shelter our fragile frame. The dual voltage indicators on the diagnostic panel drop to the baseline mark. I sink directly into the wide negative space between the stereo balance notes. There is no poetic closure waiting for us inside these cold boundary structures. Only the continuous physical movement of the dust particles settling in the dark. The steel wire lattice remains locked against a sudden temperature drop outside. A thin layer of condensation begins to form on the exposed iron structural bolts. transmission continues as the local electrical grid maintains its low. We embrace the thick absolute silence of the empty landscape before the day begins to wake. Substation housing vibrates slowly under the minimum system distribution load. A faint electrical resonance flows through the dry porcelain isolator mountain frame. You track the constant current attenuation on a high gain frequency monitoring display. My knuckles rest against the cold grounding wire connected to the main iron chassis. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning skies. Balance the electric friction of our private sector tonight. Every complex charge distribution corrects within this heavy concrete substation now. The slow vibration of the voltage regulator governs our physical position in space. Protects our fragile frame. A sharp odor of high insulating varnish and ozone drips from the cooling conduit line. The internal magnetic windings of the primary transformer core retain the day's thermal load. Your fingers remain absolutely precise as you secure the copper busbar terminal clamp. We find a rare mechanical stability deep inside the central block infrastructure road. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning skies. Low frequencies balance the electric friction of our private sector tonight. Distribution corrects within this heavy concrete substation now. Slow vibration of the voltage regulator that governs our physical position in space. A perfect boundary where the thick steel enclosure protects our fragile frame. Every silt layer settles slow against the reinforced concrete base of the filtration bed. A thick density of organic sediment accumulates directly within the primary collection tank. You track the constant flow velocity deflection on the subterranean drainage monitor screen. My knuckles rest against the cold iron surface of the high-volume effluent discharge valve. The current shifts within the copper core, and idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning sky. Of a private sector tonight. Every complex pressure differential corrects within this heavy mud filtration unit now. The slow migration of the mineral deposit governs our physical position in space. A perfect boundary where the thick stone conduit protects our fragile depth. A sharp odor of decaying organic matter and wet gravel drips from the lower wheel gate. The internal winded coils of the auxiliary sludge pump motor retain the day's heavy thermal load. Your fingers remain absolutely precise as you slide the metal safety lock on the guide rail. We find a rare mechanical stability deep inside the central block infrastructure row. The current shifts within the copper core, and idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning sky. Oh, viscous damage bounce the damn friction of our private sector tonight. Yeah. Every complex pressure differential corrects within this heavy mud filtration unit now. The slow migration of the mineral deposit governs our physical position in space. A perfect boundary where the thick stone conduit protects our fragile frames. The dual pressure valves on the main conduit display a sudden drop in the grid line. I sink directly into the wide negative space between the stereo separation nodes. There is no poetic closure waiting for us inside these dark retaining walls. Only the continuous physical movement of the sediment settling on the concrete bed. river discharges a steady stream of heated carbon gas into the dark. A thick distortion of thermal haze bends the geometric alignment of the metal frame overhead. You register the constant temperature elevation on the digital thermocouple sensor monitor. My knuckles rest against the cold zinc casing of the primary exhaust duct housing panel. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signals start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning sky. Thermal gradient balance the heavy pressure of our private sector tonight. Every complex density mismatch corrects within this unrefined ventilation shaft now. The slow expansion of the heated metal duct governs our physical position in space. A perfect boundary where the thick stone conduit shelters our fragile frame. A sharp odor of combustion, scale and sulfur dioxide gas leaks from the gasket seam. The internal copper cores of the auxiliary blower fan motor retain the day's heavy load. Your fingers remain absolutely precise as you secure the heavy high temperature seal clamp. We find a rare mechanical stability deep inside the central block infrastructure. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signals start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning sky. Thermal gradients balance the heavy pressure of our private sector tonight. Every complex density mismatch corrects within this unrefined ventilation shaft now. The slow expansion of the heated metal duct governs our physical position in space. A perfect boundary where the thick stone conduit shelters our fragile frame. Valves on the main conduit display a sudden drop in the grid line. I sink directly into the wide negative space between the stereo balance nodes. There is no poetic closure waiting for us inside these dark engineering structures. Only the continuous physical movement of the air settling and in the deep warehouse base. heavy analog circuit board limits the high frequency current drop through the copper track. A sharp impedance load generates a constant micro vibration along the dry resistor casing. You monitor the steady voltage resistance deviation on the physical oscilloscope display screen. My knuckles rest against the cozy protective frame of the main diagnostic system console. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning skies. Analog resistance balances electric friction of our private sector tonight. Every complex charge distribution corrects within this heavy circuit interface now. The slow contraction need a common trace governs our physical position in space. A perfect boundary where the thick steel chassis shields our fragile frames. No, 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 no. Scent of heated phallic board and dry solder flux drifts from the casing vent. The internal copper cores of a signal attenuation choke retain the day's thermal load. Your fingers remain absolutely precise as you calibrate the secondary bridge balance control. We find a rare mechanical stability deep inside the central block infrastructure roll. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signal start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning sky. Existence balances electric friction of our private sector tonight. Every complex charge distribution corrects within this heavy circuit interface now. The slow contraction of the copper trace governs our physical position in space. A perfect boundary where the thick steel chassis shields our fragile frames. No, 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 no. Voltage indicators on the input stage display a sudden drop to the base mark. I sink directly into the wide negative space between the stereo balance nodes. There is no poetic closure waiting for us inside these solid structural walls. Only the continuous physical movement of the electrons cooling in a waveguide core. Constant dry gale. A high frequency metal friction transfers directly into the concrete rooftop mounting pad. You log the steady signal attenuation metrics on the digital spectrum analyzer interface. My knuckles rest against the cold zinc-coated tension wire of the auxiliary support state. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signals start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning sky. Balancing sheer balance is the dry mechanical friction of our private sector tonight. Every complex signal mismatch corrects within this high altitude metal structure now. Slow deflection of the aluminum mass governs our physical position in space. Boundary where the thick concrete parapet shields our fragile frames. A frame scent of ozone and weathered insulation sealant drips from the terminal box cover. The internal winding coils of the primary impedance transformer retain the day's heavy load. Remain absolutely precise as you secure the copper coaxial shield connection. We find a rare mechanical stability deep inside the central block infrastructure road. The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. Watch the static signals start to rise beneath the gray expanse of morning skies. Emerson sheer balance is the dry mechanical friction of our private sector tonight. Every complex signal mismatch corrects within this high altitude metal structure now. Slow deflection of the aluminum mass governs our physical position in space. Yeah, a perfect boundary where the thick concrete parapet shields our fragile frames. Indicators on the receiver preamp display a drop in the input line. I sync directly into the wide negative space between the stereo balance notes. There is no poetic closure waiting for us inside these cold boundary structures. Continuous physical movement of the static charges settling on the frame. A sudden temperature drop outside. A thin layer of condensation begins to form on the exposed steel structure walls. A silent transmission continues as the local electrical grid maintains its low. We embrace the thick absolute silence of the empty landscape before the day begins to wake. rough limestone wall sheds a fine layer of white powder under the constant wind friction. A slow abrasive wear occurs along the dry geological faults of the old excavation pit base. You measure the gradual structural shift on the laser surface profile and monitor. My knuckles rest against the cold steel mounted block of the stone crushing unit.
The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signals start to rise
Beneath the gray expanse of morning sky.
Corrosive particles balance the heavy friction of our private sector tonight.
Every complex pressure differential corrects within this unrefined quarry chamber now.
Slow abrasion of the stone boundary governs our physical position in space.
A perfect boundary where the thick rock masses shelter our fragile frame. A faint scent of pulverized earth and industrial grease drifts from the sorting conveyor. The internal copper cores of the heavy screening motor retain the day's heavy thermal load. Ooh. Your fingers remain absolutely precise as you check the barren lubrication delivery line. We find a rare mechanical stability deep inside the central block infrastructure road.
The current shifts within the copper core, an idle tension building on the floor. We watch the static signals start to rise
Beneath the gray expanse of morning sky.
Corrosive particles balance the heavy friction of our private sector tonight.
Every complex pressure differential corrects within this unrefined quarry chamber
The
now.
slow abrasion of the stone boundary governs our physical position in space.
A perfect boundary